guys, Tracy here with a product review video for you guys. About 3 or 4 months ago, I was contacted by Beth at scrappingwonders.com. She contacted me because I had in a scrap chat or in some type of a video, I was talking about my traveler's notebook and how I was using it for in a couple of different ways. And one of the things that I had mentioned was just that I was having a hard time finding inserts locally and just kind of finding inserts in general for this. So she contacted me and let me know that she was actually making inserts for travelers' notebooks, and so she sent me a couple of them free of charge for me to have a look at and give her my opinions. So just full disclosure, she did provide these with me free of charge. So she does have an Etsy shop here, and what I have is the mixed media paper traveler's notebook insert, which is a Midori insert, and I have the standard size one, and I'm just going to check out the details so I can tell you what it's made of. So it's perfect for your scrapbooking, drawing, sketching, and journaling, listing, or planning needs. It fits perfectly in all Midori brand covers, as well as Webster's Pages and Chic Sparrow. The insert is made from mixed media paper, and so this is really wonderful. I'm very excited to use this. There are a bunch of different sizes available, and you can check them out. I'll just show them on the screen here. There are the sizes that are available. And I have the standard size, which is 4.25 by 8.5, and I also have the little passport size. Oops, that's not it. And I also have the passport size, which is 3.5 by 4.5, and this is really cute, and I have a couple of different ideas about this one. I really like that it opens up to a landscape size, a landscape shape, and I really think that this would be a fun size to work with, a little bit different than the standard sizes. So all of these mixed media traveler's notebooks that they sell on this website they come with 24 pages of Canson mixed media paper, which is the mixed media paper that I prefer to use and love, and the cover is made from 110-pound weight Nina cardstock. And so they come in different sizes, as I just showed you, but they also come with different papers inside of them. So the one that I have is the mixed media paper insert, and I'm really excited. I'm going to start using it actually today. As soon as I'm finished filming this video, I'm going to start playing in it. But I wanted to show it to you empty so that you can see how it looks when you get it. Now mine is actually half the size as what they are currently making. So as I mentioned, Beth contacted me 3 or 4 months ago, and at that point she was just opening her shop. And so since then, she's had a chance to tweak her product and tweak her shop a little bit. I noticed that she's offering lots more things than she did when I first got this and when I first filmed this video. So it's important that you know that if you were to order from her today, you would be getting a thicker traveler's notebook than what I'm showing you. It would actually be twice as thick. So this is just a quick glance at her shop. It's called Scrapping Wonders, and it is on Etsy. And this is just a glance. Let me turn up my screen brightness here. This is just a glance of all the products that she has. And so you'll see that she has some that have finished covers and some that have plain covers. I really love the plain colors. I plan to do something with my covers. And she has a mixed media paper one, a watercolor paper one, and the watercolor paper one is actually thread bound as opposed to the other ones that are staple bound. Then she has one with Tomoe River paper and one with dot grid paper, which I love dot grid paper. It's great for sketching out ideas for layouts and so on. Then she has an 80-page Tomoe River notebook one. So they have traveler's notebooks in various sizes with different kinds of paper inside, and they're really reasonably priced. So for the 24-page inserts, they are $5 for the mixed media inserts and the watercolor inserts. And the Tomoe River inserts are also $5, but they are 40 pages as opposed to 24, because the Tomoe River inserts are the more standard paper. Actually, this one is the Tomoe River. So this is that really thin, smooth, yummy paper that I've talked about before. I really love the thinness of the Traveler's Notebook inserts, but I am looking to do something with some of my media that require quite a bit more water. And so because I tend to use water quite liberally in my mixed media projects, I'm really happy to have this mixed media one. And I'm probably going to go to her website and pick up a couple of the watercolor ones as well, just so that I can have some of those on hand for when I fill up this one. So I'm going to show you this insert in up close, and then I'm going to make a separate video of my project that I have in mind for using with this. The other thing that I just wanted to mention is that when you get the mixed media inserts, she's actually sending you a cute little napkin, a designer napkin. Now, when she sent me mine, she hadn't received her specialty napkins yet, so she sent me a napkin from her stash. And the thing to keep in mind when you're using napkins in your mixed media projects is that you definitely want to remove the inner ply, this white. Napkins are usually 2-ply. You just want to take off the white back ply of it. That will make this a lot easier to work with. Otherwise, you'll find that when you glue it down, the two layers will start to separate, and the top one that actually has the patterns on it will not be adhered very well at all to your project. And then if you try to glue over it, you're going to have a bit of a mess. That's just such a really sweet detail. I love it when shops go the extra mile and include a little something special with your order. So this insert is basically what you would expect from a Traveler's Notebook insert. As I mentioned, mine is half as thick as the ones that you would buy right now, and they have a staple binding, and as I mentioned, the watercolor one will come with a stitched binding with wax thread, and it fits really nicely in my Traveler's Notebook. So all that you do is you just take one of your elastics and you just stick it into the center page of your little insert, and then there you go. And it fits. It's a tiny bit bigger than the one that came with my Webster's pages, just a tiny bit bigger. And there you go. So I am really looking forward to using this. It has the Canson mixed media paper in it, which I love because it can take quite a bit more water. Not quite as much as watercolor paper, but still quite a lot. And then just to give you a sense of how the little one measures up next to your notebook, I mean, you could add this as a little floater in your Traveler Notebook that you have. So for instance, but I'm pretty sure that you can get smaller little books that hold these smaller sizes of the Traveler's Notebooks. But you know, if you don't want to buy an extra one, or if you're like me and you don't have an extra one, you can always just slip this in right here, or you could put it inside of an existing one, kind of like that. So the Tomoe River is more of the standard, really, really light paper that most Traveler's Notebooks come in, or the standard paper. So let me see if I can just compare the two for you. There we go. So you can see that this paper is much thicker and stiffer. It still has a nice smooth surface on it. It's great for using with markers, which is different than the watercolor paper. Doesn't usually work all that great with markers. Watercolor paper really soaks up the juice from markers, And I always feel like I'm being a little bit wasteful when I use markers on watercolor paper because it feels like it just uses more of the ink. And also it has a bumpier surface, so the marker doesn't glide as nicely over it. So especially if you're doing some journaling, it's not going to, your journaling is going to have a little bit of a textured bumpy look to it. Whereas this mixed media paper is nice and smooth and it gives you a nice drawing and writing surface. And this Tomoe River paper is quite smooth, and I actually really love the experience of working with this, but you do have to be quite, this will take some water, it'll actually take more than you think it will take, but you do have to be quite careful with how much water you use with this. So I actually did a separate video that talks about what I'm doing right here, but I thought I'd include a little bit of the process in this video just so that you have a sense of how I get to where I'm going to pick up this video, and all of these pages will already have color on them. So I wanted you to have a sense of how that came to be. There is a separate video about this, so I'll encourage you to check it out. But basically, I call this unwhitening the pages because white pages have a way of interfering with my mojo. So one of the things that I've decided to do with this particular traveler's notebook is unwhiten the pages so that it's all ready to go, and I can use the different colors that I applied here as color inspiration for my various entries that will go in this notebook. And so this video will now pick up on the other side of this process where this notebook is completely unwhitened. So here is my unwhited traveler's notebook with mixed media paper. As you can see, I used a lot of water and it has held up fine. It's starting to bulge a little bit around where the staples are, but that is to be expected. I really did use a lot of water on it, and in order to prevent the seams from just getting so puffed up and the fibers in the paper breaking to the point that it doesn't hold together anymore, just make sure that you try to concentrate your water to the outer parts of the pages and try to not let it accumulate too much in the seam like I did. That probably wasn't all that helpful, but I don't care too much about that kind of thing because I'm going to be binding this whole, covering this whole piece of outer paper with stuff at the that's the very last thing that I'll do when I finish this project. And so when the time comes, I will show you how I do that. So I just wanted to give you a sense of how this paper compares to the Tomoe River paper. So just in case you're wondering how the Tomoe River paper compares to the mixed media paper that I just unwhited, I'm going to unwhite some of this paper as well, just so that you can see. Now, you have to be quite a bit more conservative with your use of water, but this paper will take watercolor. I would not pre-wet the pages when I was doing this, and I would keep a piece of paper towel really handy. So I'm just using the water already on my brush for this, and then I'm going to blot it to remove the majority of the paper, of the water. And then I'm left with, it does get wrinkly for a while until it dries, but then you're left with this really delicate, I think that this paper really lends itself to light amounts of color. I just zap that with my heat gun. So this is, it will flatten out quite a bit, but it still has some waviness to it from having had water on it, but it will still hold up, like it's not falling apart. I initially expected when I used this thin paper with water, I thought it would just disintegrate, but it actually holds up quite nicely. And now you could do whatever other techniques you wanted on top of that. So it holds up reasonably okay, but certainly not going to take the same amount of abuse that these papers take. I mean, these are really sturdy pieces of paper here, and they can still withhold quite a lot even after I used all of that water on it. So one of the benefits to using the mixed media paper over the regular traveler's notebook paper is that the pages are just so much sturdier. They can stand up and withhold, like you can layer lots of things on these pages and they're not going to feel flimsy or like the weighted things. One thing that I find when I put heavy things on this Tomoe River paper is that the paper kind of, especially if you're layering heavy things on the outside, it kind of gets floppy and doesn't hold up as well because there's such a difference between the thickness of the stuff you're putting on it, and the paper itself is just not strong enough to hold up to even just gravity will affect how this paper sits in your book and that sort of thing. So again, the place where I got these is scrappingwonders.com. And so thank you so much to Beth for giving me a chance to play with these two cute little traveler's notebook inserts. I'm really looking forward to an upcoming project. It won't be I won't be doing this one quite yet, but I'm going to start to work on this one pretty much immediately. And if you're looking to buy some traveler's notebooks inserts, it's really nice to, not only are these well made, I mean, you could make these yourself, and I thought about making them myself, and I just thought I would much rather just buy them than have to sit down and figure out and get myself a long stapler and cut them and fold them and everything. It's just really nice to have somebody else have already done that part of it so that I can just grab it and work with it. The other nice thing is that because this is a fellow scrapbooker, it's nice to support fellow crafters who are, you know, going out with their scrappy endeavors. And so make sure you stop by their website and check out their products. Thanks so much for watching.